Yeah, I am a man, up in the air. And I run round this town and act like I don't care. So when you see me flying by the planet's moon, you don't need to explain if everything's changed, just know I'm just like you.
It's all part of the autism spectrum disorder, and these kids run a range, and it can vary from kid to kid. I'll talk about my experience with Kimmy, since she's my daughter, and that's primarily my area of knowledge firsthand. With Kim, the first thing I noticed with her probably would be auditory, loud noises, things that would startle her. She could be startled more easily than I guess what you would compare to a normal developmental childhood. If I took her into a store and someone talked over the intercom, she would cry. I mean, it would be screaming. It would be rather upsetting. And at that point in time, I did not know, when she was a baby toddler, that, she could have Asperger's.
Hello, my name is Kimberly Delaney. Some people call me Kim. I'm 17 years old and I go to Dallastown Area High School.
Kim had a pretty normal childhood, developmentally. She started crawling, walking, everything was pretty much on time. She had a good vocabulary, she would talk, whereas some of the other autism spectrum disorders, the kids don't talk. Kimmy did. She was a happy child. Pretty active, and as a young mother, I did not really notice much different from what other young moms saw in their kids. So except for the auditory disturbances, things that would surprise her, that would really upset her, I really didn't see anything unusual.
I was diagnosed with Asperger's in 5th grade, but I knew I was different earlier on.
She went through pre-K and loved it. I mean, she was very happy with the experience. And she went into kindergarten. All the while, the school officials, were kind of keeping a watch over her. And then in 1st grade, they stepped in and said, we need to put her into a special teaching program where she's going to get some extra support. I believe they call it IST, but she could not focus in class. And this is what happens with Asperger's kids. They hear the drone of the fluorescent lights above them, they hear the kids smacking the lips, they hear the pencil tapping, they hear the shoes shuffling. They hear these auditory sounds, and it's like a mix for them in their brain they can't filter. So they can't filter the information the brain's receiving, and it overwhelms them. And this is why autistic kids tend to draw into their own world. Really important with kids with Asperger's that you work on them one-on-one as much as you can. And she went to different therapies to help her do better with school.
4 therapies: physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, and socialization therapy. Physical therapy pretty much just taught me how to move more regularly, like walking more normally and being able to do things better in gyms. Occupational therapy taught me how to write better, pretty much gave me better handwriting so at least people could read my handwriting in the future. Speech therapy helped me pronunciate my words better and give me a better pronunciation of consonants, which gave me the most trouble. And socialization therapy gave me a better understanding on how to interact with other people in public settings.
How did the diagnosis of Asperger's make me feel as a parent? It's some relief. I think parents inherently know when their kids are different a little bit. In every regard, every child's different. But especially when it has to do with learning. And your child may have some problems. So there's some relief, but then concern on, okay, what does this mean for the future? Well, where does this lead?
The diagnosis at first actually made me feel kind of depressed because I felt useless. I felt like I would never be successful at anything since I was disabled, and that must mean I'm never going to be able to achieve a normal life, which means I will never be successful. I'll never amount to anything, ever.
The switch inside my head, and I see black, black, green, and brown, 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 and blue, yellow, violets, red. And suddenly a light appears inside my brain, and I think of my ways, I think of my days, and know that I have changed. It's the colors you have, no need to be sad. It really ain't that bad. It's the colors you have, no need to be sad. You still got your head.
I am in Dallasdown Area High School, and I am in 11th grade, and now my high school experience is just like anyone else's. I don't need any special classes. I'm pretty much in regular classes. Essentially, it's pretty interesting at school. I mean, it's kind of interesting learning who's nice to you, and who really you should never associate yourself with. Bullying has happened throughout my school career. I mean, in high school, it's been more sporadic, but I'll say there's still some incredibly rude people in there that have not grown up.
Kids with Asperger's often get bullied and singled out because they function differently on a social level. They have trouble relating to conversation and the appropriate reactions to conversation. They often go off on tangents. They talk about things for unrelated conversation. They talk loud sometimes. They don't have that social filter. The best word I have is social filter. They just don't have the ability to fit in. The way society, in quotation marks here, expects us to interact. These kids just don't interact in that way. Although they're very bright and they often have a wealth of information on certain topics, they just don't have that social ability to convey and to listen in an engaging conversation. Acceptance has to be taught at an early age, across parallels. And everyone who, it takes a village to raise a child. It's school, parents, family members, church leaders, whatever and whoever. We have to teach kids before they reach the teen years about acceptance. Teen years is too late. Elementary years is perfect. And through novels, books, whatever, we have to teach young kids acceptance.
Well, I started really getting an interest in art since 6th grade. I think that's when I started doodling, which would later on turn me into that kind of artist I am today.
Kim has chosen art and painting as an outlet. I think because it's a way she can calm her mind and focus that energy, and the noise of the outside world quiets for her. I think it really just is therapeutic, and art therapy is our therapy for a reason. Victims of crimes find art as something empowering. You can get your feelings out on canvas, and maybe for these kids verbally that can't get their feelings out, art's a way that they can do that.
Art helps me because it makes me happy and gives me a niche in society, and gives me a place among everyone else. I typically paint landscapes, even though I can do still lives, but landscapes is where I usually put most of my energy into.
We've encouraged Kimmy as an artist through art programs. Her grandparents have been wonderful in supporting art programs for her, buying supplies, which aren't cheap, but it's so beneficial if you can help an Asperger's or autistic child to express themselves. It can be as simple as a sheet of paper and markers or Crayola crayons. Giving a child a chance to express themselves through art. Sometimes words don't come easy, but art can.
In the future, the hopes and dreams and goals I have is to find a college, be able to succeed in art, and be able to become a really great artist, and be able to be happy at what I do best.
The hopes and dreams I have for Kimmy in the future, oh gosh, I just to be a happy individual, to find a place where she feels she can contribute, because she's so bright and she has a lot to give. Most of my concerns have to do with society and how we tend to judge people. We don't give people a chance to contribute in ways that they can. So that one hits home. That one's hard.
What I want people to think about Asperger's is not really as much of a big disability as people claim it to be, because there's really great things about being different. It gives us a different view, and it gives us ways of changing the world that other people won't be able to do, which could leave our marks more readily and easily. If anyone who has Asperger's actually watches this, actually finds comfort in the fact that they're not alone, and that they can achieve whatever they want in life, that they shouldn't just let a simple diagnosis stop them from achieving what they want. Eventually everything can be achieved.